The stories you've never heard.
Who did Susie O'Neill famously slap?
The jokes behind the jokes.
What would happen if I did a great big fart?
For the first time ever on Ash, Lutzy, and Susie O'Neill.
I just peed a pants.
We go behind the laughter.
Some things went on behind the scenes of a radio show. We're done. No. Hello.
Wow.
Welcome to Behind
Whoa.
Jeez, you said you wanted to do a quick episode, but didn't know it was going to be that quick.
That's all right. No, it's okay. We'll see how the people are doing, how they're doing for time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Laughter, where we take you behind the scenes of everyone's favourite breakfast show. Ash, Lutzy, and Susie O'Neill. It's Noel Nick. I'm joined here by Lockie, as per usual, behind the wheels,
Hello.
and Alicia.
Hello.
You've got your obligatory something out of the way, so you're ready to talk. It's
Yeah.
disgusting what we have to go through,
it's
but
kinda- it's so
I
gross.
crack a Coke Zero every time before the show, and for some reason, every time you turn the mics on, I immediately need to burp. So I just get it out of the way before we start recording.
I wonder what the correlation...
she does that for you, so thank you, listener.
The correlation between Alicia needing to burp and having a Coke Zero, it's almost like you shouldn't be having Coke Zeros because they make you burp.
False. Not true.
It's all good.
I would have Pepsi Max if it was there instead, but whatever.
Okay.
all right.
well,
I'm a Pepsi fan.
Thank God you didn't go
If
for
you
like,
know,
a,
you
like a
know.
small company or something. It's been, where are we? We're Wednesday. We're Wednesday
We
so
are
far.
Wednesday.
So, geez, we're not far away from taking a little bit of a holiday. But this is where the whips really start cracking at this time of year. So, and we've had a bit on. We had Susie on the Today Show earlier in the week. So, love it when the TV cameras turn up and like Susie turned up like all nicely dressed on
know.
Monday. I'm like, you are overdressed for a Monday morning.
like,
we're
what is
all-
going on,
We
Suze?
we take till now.
She's normally barefooted.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Oh, she still
Stomping
could,
around
she
the
still
place.
could have been barefooted. Still could have been
That's true.
barefooted. But it's been an interesting week so far. We had a chat today on the show, and Lockie, I'd showed you beforehand, and in part of my digital world, I'm foraying a little bit further into the world of AI and just having a little bit
yeah.
of fun with that. And I mean, we pretty much had a meeting on air because I actually said I'd said to you before, Alicia, you text me, and I was trying to run to the bathroom, so I had to make my way back to the studio. I was trying to use
yeah.
that 650 break as a bit of a getaway.
Susie was panicking. She was like, "Where's Nick? I want him on the air." And I was
Okay,
like,
because Susan come in and
I
talk.
was like, "We've still got 5 minutes, Suze."
So Susan come in and talk to me just about a video I'd posted on our Instagram yesterday. And then I kind of went to you, Lockie, as my sort of like go-to guy for anything ethical. Like, I believe...
Look, I appreciate that I'm the ethics...
Yeah.
ethics guy
Unlike
on the
mine,
show.
Lockie's heart is in the right place. So
I appreciate that.
I did come to you because this is something part of my role as a digital producer. You would see nowadays on your social feeds that a lot more AI, artificial intelligence generated content is finding its way on our streams. And on any social platform, you do have to label it.
What do you?
Yeah, there's actually...
didn't know that.
Look, you're supposed to. There is
I know a workaround.
Did you label
Yeah.
it?
Oh, no. There is a workaround. But
Oh.
right now, like just for example, the Instagram algorithm is... Lockie's got a weird look on his face, but I'm
Oh,
thinking...
it
No,
has
sorry,
got,
I can-
it
I
has
can
got
hear like a weird
hashtag
buzz.
AI.
Well, first of all, his name's Buzz, and he's perfectly normal. Yes, he has a few odd traits, but
Sorry.
I look past them. I don't know if you can.
As the guy running the wheels on the show, I want to make sure that our listeners have the best possible audio.
Best audio experience. I understand that. No, you turn on a little label saying "made with AI," but I think right now, the Instagram algorithm is rewarding you for doing it. It wants you to. Oh, that fixed it.
No, do you know what it was?
What was it?
Because
an
we
extra
did
mic on?
we did have Buzz in here just before showing
Oh.
one of our new
Was it
sales
You
people.
had the cave open, didn't you?
You left the cave door open.
I did leave the cave door open.
So it was a draft.
So now
and-
you know what the cave draft sounds like.
Yeah, Buzz left the cave door open, and now I've finally worked that out. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
The first 4 minutes of this podcast may have had some extra noise.
I wondered
It's
why
all
it was
fixed.
so cold in the studio.
Yeah, it smells
Anyway.
permeating. That wasn't Alicia's burp. So, but anyway,
For once.
But anyway, I did bring up an ethical sort of question because these guys have worked in, they've been in the public sphere for about 20 years plus, and their image is out there. Ours not so much, but when you're in a sort of public spotlight, yes, your image is out there. And you would have seen over the years that people's images can be used by AI to either make them say something they're not saying, do something they're not doing, or appear in a photo where they weren't there. Now, I used Susie in just a TikTok trend yesterday, and she was fine with it. That's our relationship, and I'll sort of ask first. I'll ask permission later, and then I'll post it. But it did sort of raise the question as we look further into this: are the guys okay with me doing this? Because I use their photos and stuff all the time, but to sort of feed their image into a place that I don't really know where it goes, like into whether it be a Discord server or something like that, and these are terms that I'm only learning, I'm going, I know it's out there like on the World Wide Web. You can find an image of them very easily in Google Images, but no one has deliberately put it, unless they wanted to, into like one of these servers, for example. And it, not to say something will happen, but I know that I have handed over this image, for example. I've fed it into the machine in the simplest way, and it's given me back what I wanted, but I don't know what it's going to do with that image in the future. So I did ask the guys on air, I'm like, are you okay with this? And I said, sort of for my own argument, like, guys, your image has been out there for 20 years. I don't think you've been too worried about it so far, but it's probably a question I should ask you. Just very quickly, are you guys comfortable with your likeness image being fed into AI deliberately?
Do you want my image?
Yeah.
No one's going to be stealing me for anything interesting.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, and that's
honestly.
and that's the thing. It's a totally fine position to have. Not to say someone can't, but you know, if it came to a thing like I wanted to make something of Lockie, and if you said to me that you didn't want your image used through AI, I'd be like, that's fine.
To be honest, it depends on the content. I think if it's funny, if it's good, then it's okay.
If Nick is using your image for something that's not funny.
Oh no, that's a reflection on me. But also that's subjective, Lock. So
yeah, and that's the thing. I want if I'm going to give up my image rights, I want to laugh at the thing.
Well, I typed in the prompt "funny," so I hope I hope it comes through. But
and we all know how funny AI is.
Yeah,
have you ever asked ChatGPT to write some jokes? Hilarious.
Oh yes, the machine learning is not amazing, but you know, in the same way, they could take this podcast and do something with our voices if they wanted to. But anyway, that is like, you know, in the ever evolving world of what we do, that is something that I genuinely had a question this morning. So I'm glad we had the meeting on air, so we didn't have to do it afterwards. I like it because I kind of had them under duress as well. I'm like, no, I will do this right now.
Yeah.
But look, well, we've had some interesting questions, and there was a nice little moment this morning when Mitch did his street cross from the RBWH. They were doing wonderful things down there, and we kind of had a worlds colliding moment with Sunrise, where Mitch's TV, I guess, version of Mitch, Sam Mack, came on our show while he was not live on TV, but certainly doing what he was down there to do.
That would have been really cool if we organised that, to do like a dual interview. Them interviewing each other across two
mediums, crossover.
Yeah. So Sam's interviewing Mitch for TV at the same time that we're interviewing Sam for radio. Neither of you are even paying attention to what I'm saying right now.
No,
you're both watching a Vaseline ad on the TV.
It's not
this is morning television at its very, very finest. As the quality of our podcast when we record at 10:58 in the morning television is not much better. So we're just seeing the visual equivalent of what we're recording.
Alicia,
Lockie, what did you see?
Alicia, I promise I was listening. I was just thinking about how that would work logistically and what benefit it would be to both sets of audiences.
You think it's a lose-lose?
Well... I think,
I just thought it was a fun idea, but
no, I agree that it's a fun idea. I guess I'm just thinking that one step further, going, cool, we do a crossover, cool, awesome. But no, I don't want to shut down the idea. I think it's a fantastic idea, Alicia.
The most ambitious crossover since the Avengers.
Yeah, it is.
It's almost like that.
It's deep into meme history. Though.
Anchorman, where they did. On Anchorman 2, I think it was, where they fight it out between all the different...
No, that was Anchorman 1. I never wanted to sully the memory of Anchorman 1. I still have not watched Anchorman 2, and I refuse to.
And then, I don't know if you remember this, but then...
Your mate Vince Vaughn was in it.
In an attempt to be relevant, the Australian...
Because nothing like a topical reference like Anchorman.
Exactly. The Australian news anchors also... recreated that.
They did do it, yeah. I remember when Leland Chin was at the height of her fame, and a more likeable Carl Stefanovic was also that was a good time. I don't think we're going to see the celebrity newsreader again. I think we've really the post Anchorman glow was good for that industry, and I don't think we're going to see that.
Well, I mean, Sharon Godella this morning. If you listen to the Mitch on the Street,
I think she's a Lucy at it. I love Sharon.
Hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. She was making jabs about.
While you're bringing up Anchorman reference,
sure. I
was having this conversation last week at the airport with Buzz and Mitch,
but not Vince Vaughn.
Not Vince Vaughn. Unfortunately, not Vince Vaughn. That I'm amazed, Nick, how you can take context of like anything the guys say and immediately get a reference from like a TV show or a movie, like all the time, like incorporated into our videos are Simpsons clips, it's different thing. And I said, it seems like to me, it seems like a male thing. A lot of you guys that I'm friends with and yourself, Nick, can
thanks for calling us friends.
can immediately go, oh, that's like that time in The Simpsons when blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, do guys just know every episode of The Simpsons and
Yeah.
every...
Okay, there's a generation of men, and I'd say it's mid 90s through to, if you existed in this period of time, and probably younger, from mid 90s to about 2010 or so. This is still this is like pre the internet as we know it.
Yeah.
So when you get like reruns of The Simpsons on, or like some people are Seinfeld. There's a generation of people that are Seinfeld, like my wife. I'm The Simpsons, and I can still sit around and quote Simpsons memes to because that we didn't have
crazy.
we didn't really have it. So all you do is just and like Anchorman's one of the greatest films for it, one of the most quotable films, because all you do is just sit around, because you couldn't reshare it. You couldn't reshare a clip or something, so you just try and remember.
Yeah, you'd sit
the
in a
quote.
room and just yell quotes to each other. That's
And
true.
unfortunately, one of my great flaws is I can always remember think of the reference, and I can find the reference, which is a good skill to have in the digital world. I never
Yeah.
actually knew if this skill would ever benefit me because I'm actually really bad at quoting things. I misquote all the time. I get like 90% of the quote correct, but there's always like a word I've interchanged. So in the digital realm, it's a lot easier for me. But it's just, you're right, it is a very male thing, and that's what we bond. Like that was our bonding thing.
Yeah.
It's not down
Well,
sport
Mitch
lines.
and Buzz disagreed with me and said, no, I think that's just Nick. And I was like, well, I've seen quite a few guys.
No,
Alicia, can
okay,
I-
that's a lie. Mitch and I do this all the time.
Alicia, can I ask, are the friends that you have who do this, are they,
Are they mentally stable?
well, one, I guess that's
First of all,
a great first
no.
question. Second question is, do they operate within the entertainment industries, or is it people
no.
outside? Okay.
No, it's outside of the end.
Because for me, I feel like I watch a lot of content. I never got to watch The Simpsons. I grew up in a non-Simpsons household.
Yes.
And so...
So did I. I used to sit in my bedroom and watch it because my neighbours would watch it every day.
Oh, so you'd
So
watch
I would
through
just
their
watch
window.
through my window,
my
through that,
goodness.
and it was silent.
And ironically,
but I'd
they'd watch
it.
Neighbours through her window.
But I guess I have watched things in more recent history just to go, oh, I'm going to try and get myself across these pop culture references.
I
And
think
then-
yours, Lockie, if I can take a guess,
Sure.
is Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I've watched a lot of That's our comfort show.
You do talk about Brooklyn Nine-Nine a bit.
And so there are shows.
early seasons only.
After season 5 doesn't count.
Yeah, pre-NBC.
Anyway, for me, I have watched a number of different shows, and then I think part of it, and Nick, you might be able to relate, is when you're wanting to be in some sort of entertainment type role where you're trying to entertain other people, your brain is constantly working overtime to try and think of connections to make it relevant to a listener.
Yes.
And so you might go, for example, this situation that we just had, where a reference about a crossover happens, and my brain instantly jumps to Anchorman, because I go, oh, that's a reference that I can bring up that hopefully someone listening to this has seen, and then it paints a mental picture for them to go, oh yeah, it's exactly like Anchorman, where
Yeah.
you've got the different.
And that's the thing. I use it as a storytelling, like as a storytelling device.
oh
because-
yeah, you do, and you do it so well.
Because
It's
sometimes
amazing.
and sometimes I will also change the narrative if I want to.
Yeah.
Because if it's more funnier that way. But that's the way, like, that's the way social media's gone in the last little while. I'm like, well, that's something, really we should be doing. Because at the end of the day, a radio conversation is 3 or 4 people in a studio and kind of doing enough to make everyone understand the story. But it's still their story. So if I use another device, if I grab onto a couple of ideas, I'm able to just add another layer to it. Go, all right, I didn't understand that viewpoint, but here's something hopefully quite relatable. Go, I know that gives me a bit more
That's the
context.
magic of your role, is you can
It is
just
fun.
take out of context and change it to whatever you
Well, but the thing, it's funny you say that. It's because I'm sitting on the other side of the glass. I'm looking into the animal enclosure. Sometimes I don't have the context. I don't act like, if they're not talking, they're doing something like, when the mics are off. I can only make up a story from what I see. And, a nice example of that was yesterday, where Lotzie was making a pun on the scenic rim, and we don't need to go too far into that. But he looked around because no one laughed at his joke.
Yeah.
But I picked up on it. I'm like, I just
And
nodded.
again,
I
you
nodded
ma-
at him. I'm like,
yeah.
And then I watched that. And I was like,
You managed
I know
to
a
make
reference for this.
reference out of it. Yeah.
Only 2 people in a crowd nodded at each other. But then there was another Batman reference, so another Christian Bale reference from that. So again, I never knew this skill
You've just got
would
a
help me in
bank
life.
of movie references in your head.
I don't know how intelligent I would be if I didn't have these. I always think I have. There's X amount of RAM up here.
Yeah.
God, if I had to put this towards something useful.
I will
So
say.
thank you. In
yeah.
conclusion, thank you for enjoying this because it's a novel skill.
And I sent the video you made of Sue's answering the 10-year-old question as well. How old would I be if I was born 10 years ago?
Great. I just want to say, great question,
Thank
Alicia.
you. I
know
knew it when I wrote it.
magnificent,
I was
yeah.
like, this is gonna.
I asked my wife. She said 20.
Did she?
Yep.
No.
It fools people.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was
it's
like,
what makes it a good
I was
question.
like, you got to think about it.
And under
So
under clock pressure.
Mm. And so you made a great video out of that, Nick, and I sent it to my brother, and I was like, hee hee, I dropped this question into our daily trivia quiz, and he replied back, my brother in England, and he was like, that's a great video edit, and I was like, I'll pass that on.
Again, there's about the variety of references in there. One internet meme from a Brazilian telenovela.
Yeah.
One from The Hangover.
Yeah.
And one from My Fair Lady.
Yeah,
with
it's very good.
underscored by the chorus of Hallelujah
It was
and
very
I
good.
think Beethoven.
Yeah.
That's always a good thing. That's why you hear classical music in videos because there's no copyright on them.
That's true.
Yeah, I do want to give you a little shout out and say, Nick,
I knew I sent you that love heart for a reason the other day.
No, I know, but
Speaking to why we're friends.
the videos that you have been making recently, you've kind of just gone, do you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna just go rogue here. There's almost a
I'm glad you've picked up on that.
yeah.
Yes.
And look, sometimes I go, is this too far? Like, is this the context of this video? Do people actually understand what's going on? I don't know. But what I appreciate is that there seems to be, and this is kind of really nerdy, but if you ever listen to more than one radio station, and I don't advise it, I only advise listen
it's
to.
actually really bad for your health. There's been a new study.
Listen to Nova 106.9. And if you ever go into state, I mean, listen to
Use the Nova app. Use Nova Player.
listen to the other Novas maybe, but really get the Nova app and listen to the Nova Player. But if you ever just aware of how other radio stations work, and you maybe peruse on social media, radio stations and digital content producers, they all kind of look at one another. There's always a checking over your shoulder to go, oh, this is how these people are doing it across the road. Oh, this is how I know that you have used sporting teams as a reference as well for content as well.
A long time ago, when I started doing this job, I looked at because basically I can only make things that I like.
Yeah.
It is really painful for me to, and it may be part of the ADHD, that I can't make something I don't want to make because I like the process, and if I'm invested in it, I'm going to give it everything. But if I hate what I'm making, I either won't do it or it'll take forever. So I looked at things.
Is that why Lutzie's video took forever to make?
No comment. But look, I looked. I go, well, what do I do? So I followed every sporting, and for anyone who is interested in social media, find the things that you like. I started following every football team, both AFL and NRL, just as a start to see what they posted because I like sports content. I'm like, all right, how are they going to spread sports content, which is relatively niche, to the masses? And I'm like, okay, there's some references, like movie references, TV references. I'm like, okay, that translates it well. How do I do the same thing with radio, which, ever since the invention of studio cameras, which, we've got, as we said, we've got 5 of them set up here, radio became very obsessed with showing video of people, of radio hosts talking. They go, oh, we can do is just through audio, but now we can do the same thing with video. And unless a big, funny visual moment happens, or there's a lot of laughter. I always say that laughter in a video creates laughter because you want to laugh along.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're just, it doesn't do much. It doesn't change much. So there's got to be, and you got to find another way for it to cut through. And that's what I'm going through now. And yes, Lockie, I have gone a little bit rogue. I think I put in the story today that admin has entered its AI shit posting error. Yeah. And I'm not looking back.
Sure. And look, for me,
I've evolved.
there's some AI
or devolved. I'm not sure.
It's a personal taste thing. There's some AI stuff I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But I think for every post that you make that is I look at and I go,
mid.
That's mid. There are some absolute bangers in there, I think you're doing a good job.
You got to try things. You just have to try things. It's a safe space. End of the day, content's content. The more you make, you're going to get better at it.
Yep.
There's going to be some shockers in there too, and that's fine.
And I like that your attitude.
A lot of people don't know it's bad.
I like that your attitude is, I'm just going to try stuff and see what sticks, and we'll just work out
what do people respond to.
What happens there.
What I've learned here is that you guys put a lot more thoughts into your jobs than I do.
And yes, someone's paid a lot more.
Oh.
Buzz, get in here!
Hey, we put all this
debatable.
thought in, but we still don't get invited to Sydney. Is that?
Nah, that's all right.
all right?
I'm
you
off
know?
Sydney. I'm off the place. Anyway, well, that'll do us. We've got a lot out of the system. Coming up on the show tomorrow, please, Alicia. And for the rest
Lockie
of the week-
Neal will be in the
Lockie
studio
Neal.
tomorrow. So tune out for that and tune in for that, sorry.
Don't
Oh,
tune
wow.
out.
Jeez.
My God.
And also it will be your final chance to get in the draw for
Fashion of Philly.
Yep.
Yep.
Fashion of Philly for the BRC
Are
giveaway.
we still
and
sending Mitch
getting
out on the
draw.
street to that thing that we're playing?
It's not 100% locked in yet, Lockie, so we're not teasing that until we know more.
Okay. Surely we
But it's
can-
going to be fun.
Well, we hope that all our Mitch on the street crosses are fun.
Hmm.
If we can lock this in, I don't think Mitch returns tomorrow.
Huge.
Like, I don't think he returns. I think he might
Yeah,
need
he'll
a
stay
sick
there.
day. I reckon.
Yeah,
no,
he might.
We're going to burn him out.
Well, quite literally.
There's your hint.
Ooh, okay. All right. Well
Drop
done.
the bomb and walk
Get out of
away.
here. Let's go.